All right, folks. Let's go ahead and get this started. Sorry we're starting a couple minutes late. Just had a very busy day. A lot of stuff lined up. A lot of stuff going on, including me going to Costco because I was out of food, you know. And it's very important to have all the food that you want to eat during the week, especially if you're on a rather strict diet, which I am right now, because if you run out of good food, you're going to eat the bad food. And since it's October, there's a bunch of freaking Halloween candy in the house. And I don't want to eat a whole bag of Halloween candy, but I will. I know myself. If the temptation is there, then it's quite possible for me to eat all the Halloween candy. My red light, I realize, is not quite where I want it to be now. I put up another monitor right here in a portrait mode monitor. Which is cool, so like, you know, I could have the chat just like a huge extension of the chat on this window, which is cool. You know, I can even make it like the whole window, and it's like super easy to read and stuff. So anyway, guys, yeah, Bradford, I'll be looking forward to reading about that. The hating of the players. I haven't played the new player experience. I will tell you this about World of Warcraft, though. So I did re-up because all my friends... I got a bunch of friends that I've been playing with for, at this point, 15, 16 years. That they always play every expansion. And this is part of what I want to talk about, which is the cycle of games as a service. There's a cycle to it, and if you're aware of the cycle, then you're aware of the manipulations to try to keep you in the cycle as well as you can have a much healthier relationship with something like World of Warcraft or Final Fantasy 14 or any MMO that you might play. EverQuest, I think, is probably the most notorious for having people just turn into, I don't know, like unbathed neckbeards playing a game 18 hours a day, 12 hours a day or whatever. But EverQuest really started all of this stuff. Not completely, I'll get into that. But it's important to know what's going on so that you can take a step out of that. So anyway, yeah, re-upped, and the leveling experience, I might play a little bit today, actually. The leveling experience is the most... I don't know whether... See, people say there's a leveling buff, meaning it's easier to level. I call that a nerf. They've nerfed the leveling grind in the most significant way I've seen in this game to date. And that's saying something because... It was like in Warlords of Draenor, you could hit 100 in like 5 hours played if you knew what you were doing. Now you had to have the heirloom gear and a bunch of potions and all kinds of stuff like that. But now that's not necessary. In fact, you don't even need the heirloom gear. You can just play a new character and get to level 50, which is currently max level, which would be the level that you would need to start the next expansion. Because they squished everything from 120 down to 60, but now it's actually 50. So 120 went down to 50. So you can get from 1 to 50 in like 6 to 8 hours played. Now, it used to take, if you really knew what you were doing in Classic WoW, to get level 60 took 6 to 8 days. So to put that in perspective, that is 24 times as long to level to get to max level. And this is the most significant leveling nerf I've seen. And in some ways, it's actually good because what they are kind of acknowledging finally is that they don't care about the leveling experience. They don't view the leveling experience as anything meaningful or like something that people really should take their time with and enjoy. Rather, it's just a side thing that you do before. It's a couple hours to try out a character and then play them. You know, that's the leveling experience. And the way they have it set up is like it'll just set you at the start of any expansion you want with a new character. So I think you get to level 10, you go talk to Chromie. Now, I was playing a Dark Iron Dwarf, so it skipped skipped the first 10 levels. It starts you at level 10. And you talk to Chromie, and I went out to Warlords of Draenor, and I got level 10 to 20 in about 1 hour and 40 minutes. And I forgot to turn on War Mode. And for Warlords of Draenor, if you're going to do the intro, especially, you should turn on War Mode. It's free 10% extra experience. You're never going to see a player from the other faction. You just won't see one. So you just turn that on in Stormwind or in Orgrimmar, and then head out to Warlords of Draenor, and you'll be getting a level every couple minutes, and you'll get 10 levels in, an hour and 40 minutes. So if that pace holds we're talking, 6 to 8 hours to get to level 50 to play. And I was playing a shaman, which is also very fast. So if you want a really fast leveling character enhancement, shaman's very fast because you can do ghost wolf indoors. You can just ghost wolf around, just increase movement speed in general. Same thing with the hunter. You can turn on Mark of the Cheetah and just go around, and it works pretty well. So anyway, there's that. Let's take a look at the chat a little bit, and then we will talk. Yeah, Blizzard went down. We felt Blizzard changing back when Activision took over. Got my Rockstar for the stream. Also got my donut for the week. I'm very much looking forward to eating Mr. T's donut. So I really felt like there was a turning point in Wrath of the Lich King. Wrath of the Lich King was the main turning point. That was really the peak of subscribers, and I think it was the peak of gameplay as well in general. Whether it's raiding, PvP, single player, leveling, like the peak of gameplay was really Wrath of the Lich King. And that was when the Activision merger happened. They got bought, basically acquired. And after that, the fundamental arrangement of the game started to change. So the first thing that happened is you ended up with this dungeon finder. And at first we were kind of excited about the dungeon finder. It wasn't hard to get to dungeons in Wrath, and it really wasn't hard to get to dungeons in Burning Crusade either because of the fact that you had flying mounts and things were pretty close to each other. But we're like, oh, dude, you could just sit in Dalaran and just queue up for dungeons and blast through them and get a bunch of gear because we were good. And then what happened is that came in at the end of an expansion when everybody was geared and knew what they were doing. And then at the beginning of Cataclysm, it was horrible. People couldn't play. And we realized there was something fundamentally wrong. Like, you always went through a filter when you were building your group so that you could actually get it done in a timely manner and be efficient with it. And if it auto queues you with people, it doesn't do that. So they had to nerf all of the Cataclysm dungeons and nerf all of the Cataclysm heroics because people couldn't do them. And so that was a sign that, the heroics in Burning Crusade were difficult, but the ones in Cataclysm were not as hard as that, and they nerfed them. It just meant that the quality of the player base not only was down, but they weren't going to ask people to skill up in order to do anything in the game. And it just went from there. By the time Raid Finder came out, which I think that was MOP, I think that was Mista Pandaria, was Raid Finder. Just game was no longer for me, Raid Finder was just the cheapest, worst thing, and I can get into that when we talk about the game cycle stuff. So let's take a little bit more. Let's look at more of the chat. So yeah, Blizzard went downhill years ago. Legion was okay. Legion, I thought, had a really bad start to it. I played beta and didn't like it, and then I thought it ended really strong. I thought Battle for Azeroth started really great and very quickly moved into the main problem that the game has had for years now is that they simply don't know how to manage their systems, and they don't know how to manage raid content at all, as far as just from a macro or even meta level. They just don't know how to do it. They're like, well, everybody should be able to have access to this or that, and what you end up having with all these different difficulty levels is people grinding the exact same dungeon and raid over and over again for months. You get incredibly bored by that. So it just fell into that mode really quickly with Battle for Azeroth, and everything else that you were doing was grindy and pointless. And so you fell into this kind of static mode that just made it not very fun. So I resubbed from time to time, but never stuck around for very long. Mage Tower challenges and Legion, I did some of those. BFA pre-patch was hype, but the rest of the expansion was absolutely awful. I thought, like I said, I thought it started pretty good. And then you moved really quickly into just grinding the same raid over and over again forever, or then doing this. And garrisons were really bad. Again, it was a thing that we liked at first, but everything was in the garrison, including mining and herbing, so there's no reason to leave it. It was more efficient to just level up another character and just do more stuff in their garrison than it was to go out in the world and do anything. But that's a problem. It's supposed to be World of Warcraft. And the problem with the leveling nerf really is that it's the World of Warcraft. So you're making the World of Warcraft part, the world part, you're shrinking it down to an 8-hour experience. They put a ton of time and effort and art resources into building like this beautiful high fidelity world with all these things in it that you don't really get to spend time enjoying. Why Classic was enjoyable is because it took time to level, and which meant you took the time to look around at where you were. Same thing with Burning Crusade, and same thing really with Wrath of the Lich King. You took the time to look at what was there, and you really felt like you were part of the world. I forgot to, I should have just done the video of me going 10 to 20, because going through WoD, it's just like blasting full speed, and it's this beautiful world, and you just aren't even really looking at it, because you're just like, arrow's pointing over there, let's go to the next objective and kill what it wants us to kill, and that's all you do, you know? I've been playing Final Fantasy XIV since January 2019. Love it. Would recommend it. I'll probably check it out at some point. I don't have a ton of time to play, so in some ways, the nerfed aspect of World of Warcraft is better, because I just don't have time to play the game in a meaningful way. Is this time for a stream a new standard? No, this is an exception. I had to go to Costco. I just couldn't put it off. You'd think the success of WoW Classic would have had an effect. You'd think so, but not really. Bradford did the new leveling experience this week. Took it easy and did 10 to 50 from Tuesday to Thursday. It sounds about right. I could probably hit 50 tomorrow on this shaman, and then decide if I want to play it or play a different character. So they just lower the barrier to the entry to the main installment. I finished my book. Good job. All I have to do is put it up on Amazon and other ebook sites. Good job. Classic EverQuest over WoW. I liked EverQuest a lot, but it's hard to go back to EverQuest. Like, the graphics are so primitive. Everything about it is so primitive. It's I'm trying to think of I can't think of anything comparable. Maybe I don't know, a lot of that stuff from the late 90s, it's good. It's hard to find really good stuff from the late 90s that holds up, because it was all cutting edge at the time and amazing at the time. But graphical fidelity standards reveal the problems with the aesthetics and the graphics, and then the gameplay usually can be a little bit jonky. It's kind of like playing, say, Super Mario 64, and you only have one stick to play with, because they hadn't really thought of doing, 2 sticks and stuff until Sony put 2 sticks on theirs. You're just missing a lot of the control that you're used to from modern games. It was a important transitionary period. So I felt the same way about Ultima Online, I think. Of course, there's no more Lineage servers, but same thing with that. Let's see what else we got. Hey, David, did you see the Baldur's Gate shenanigans? I did not. I guess I hadn't been paying attention. Played casual from vanilla through Cataclysm. Panda People was just too cartoonist, and the people I played with were gone. Yeah, that's basically what happened with me. Is my guild that we really had a great time raiding. Everybody moved on to other things, and just didn't really have a big reason to continue playing, and so that was it. Most of the elite players care only about in-game, and they could skip leveling, they would in a heartbeat. Now, here's the thing. With Classic, I keep going back to Classic because it's probably, I'd say Classic through Wrath is the best version of the game. Because Cataclysm, once you remove the original game, the enhanced leveling experience was in every way I can think of worse than the original leveling experience for a bunch of reasons that I can get into, but leveling was something you did, you leveled alts because it was a break from in-game. In-game could be monotonous at times. In-game was really kind of localized to the raid. You raided on Tuesdays and Thursdays and Saturdays, let's say. Well, if you wanted to play on Wednesday, what were you going to do? Well, you could PvP on your main. Maybe you go to a ZG pug, but if you didn't want to do that, you could level. So leveling gave you this really great break from in-game in Classic because of the kind of the stride you get into with that cycle. But that's not really the case anymore. Now it's leveling is not a break. It's not I'm casually leveling an alt, to I'm going to level an alt on Saturday and maybe I'll just play that. Where you're really playing everything. You're missing all the content. So 99% of the content you're just not experiencing because you're only playing the in-game content. Unless you're doing the time walking dungeons, which are nice. But you're missing all the content. All the content is just skip all the content and go to the newest expansion. But there's a point to that. And let me go ahead and transition to talking about that. So I'll probably do a separate video about this. But anyway, here's what you need to know. There's a cycle to games as service, and I'm including MMOs in that category. There is a cycle to games as service. And if you're aware of that cycle, then you can have a lot more fun playing them and also be a lot more able to disengage from them. So first of all, what are games as service? The idea of games as service is to have somebody paying money for a game at more regular intervals than actual installments with an asterisk. So rather than buying Super Mario 1, 2, 3, that's not games as service. Those are 3 separate games, separate gameplay, separate content, everything. The idea of games as service is that it's one game and you're paying regularly to continue playing that one game. Where are the roots of this? Well, it's easy to look back and say, well, the roots of it is stuff like Ultima Online, EverQuest, MMOs. But I think it actually goes a little bit earlier than that to annual installment games. So I think the first ones to do this were actually sports games back on the Genesis and the Super Nintendo. So sports games would come out. You'd had a Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99, right? You had Ken Griffey Jr. Baseball every year. Did the game change? No, it was the same game. Very, very few changes to gameplay. Really, they just took the same game and changed the rosters and changed a couple things here or there and just updated the game a little bit and then sold it to you again the next year. Once sports games really took off in the early 2000s with the PlayStation stuff, you had NCAA 2001, 2002, 2003, NBA, NFL 2001, all these EA games. EA really figured it out. They're like, oh man, we can come out with the same game every year and people will pay us $60 to play that same game every year. And that's really where the seeds of the modern games as service really come from. You're buying a new disc, but it's basically the same game. There was Tiger Woods 2003, 2004, 2000. It's the same game. Maybe there's a couple different golf courses. But the rosters are different, especially with football. The football fields aren't even different. You change a couple graphics around, maybe update some uniforms if those changed, update the rosters, and then sell the game again. And at the same time, you had games like EverQuest selling a monthly subscription. So monthly subscription was kind of the holy grail in the early 2000s because World of Warcraft going into like 2010 was making it was like printing money. It was making so much money because you had 10 million people paying $15 a month just to access the game. Plus, they were also paying the installment price. So you had the original World of Warcraft box. Mine's up there somewhere, up behind me. I can go get it down, but I'd have to go look for it. So you had the original World of Warcraft box, which was classic. And that was $50, $60, whatever it was. I think it was $50. So you'd install it, and then you'd have to pay $15 a month after that. So they got you to buy the game, and then they got you to continue paying every single month to access stuff. Now, how do you get people to pay money every single month to access the same game that they paid $50 for? And the answer is you have a lot of crap for them to do, and you set it up so that it takes a long time for them to do all that crap. Now, there are some really, really, really good... Now, I'll get to arcades. I will get to arcades, Gene, because that has to do with time penalty stuff. But you're right. It is arcades where you paid regularly for the game rather than buying it and just getting all the access to it. But with a subscription, you paid a subscription and you got access to everything for that month. So you set it up so it takes a long time to get through it. Now, the benefit of something like EverQuest or WoW and the long leveling grind, the long time it takes to see the entire game and play through it, is that it makes the game feel more epic. You develop personal relationships with the people you play with. It creates all of these emergent things that were what players really liked. They didn't like spending months leveling up to level 60 and, slowly going through Arathi Highlands or something and killing all the raptors. What they liked was playing with other people and the grouping with other people to overcome these extreme challenges that were put in the game. And so, the 1 to 60 grind was substantial, just like how the original EverQuest, like 1 to 50 grind, I think, was really substantial. Or Lineage, where you're probably never going to get max level. So the grind was substantial so that you'd take a long time to get to the end. You really took a while before you felt like you had cleared the leveling content. Then you put a bunch of in-game content and you set that up so that that person will be doing that in-game content for months. And the rewards they get is more player power. So each time you level up, you're rewarded with more player power, when you get to max level and you do the raids, you're rewarded with more player power. It's just on the gear rather than a level that makes your character just have more stats or whatever, more skill. So it just ups their stats through the gear, and that's how you keep people pay. But there's a little bit of a cycle to this, and I'm starting with MMOs, but I'll go to the other games too. And that cycle is that players get tired of playing the same game, right? World of Warcraft is kind of unique in that there were people who just played World of Warcraft for years. I wouldn't say I was one of them. I always played other games, but World of Warcraft was like the main game. I could play World of Warcraft more than anything, from like vanilla up through, say, Wrath of the Lich King. And then Wrath of the Lich King was the first time I ever canceled my subscription. It was Trial of the Crusader. I was in a serious raiding guild, and we cleared, they gated the content, so you could fight one boss week 1, 2 bosses week 2. So we got to week 6, you had to beat the final boss, and then you could do it heroic mode. So week 6, we beat the final boss in one night, went back the next night, cleared it out in heroic. And I looked at that and I was like, we're not going to see Icecrown Citadel for 6 months at least. I'm going to be grinding out this gear doing these same 6 boss fights for 6 months, and that's the only way I can move my character forward. I'm like, I'm out. This is so lazy, I cannot tolerate it anymore. It was 6 boss fights in one room. 2 rooms, technically, because the last one you drop down into this big spider boss fight. But anyway, it was emergent, yes. So Matt D has, this is exactly what I'm talking about, the our story versus the story. And what emerged from playing EverQuest was the story of your story or our story, our friend's story. Oh yeah, we were out here in the Fade Arc and this happened. You have all these stories that are connected with it. Oh, in World of Warcraft, we were out in Booty Bay and this guy attacked me, and then the guards attacked him, but I guess I auto-attacked him, so the guards knocked me into the water. But then they bugged out, and then they killed him, and then they reset, and I was just laughing my butt off because he took durability damage. And I didn't, because I got knocked into the water, right? You have those stories of things like that. And that's your story or our story versus the story. The story of Booty Bay, which is like the goblins are like, go kill the Blood Cell Buccaneers. We don't like them. That's the story of Booty Bay. It's not very compelling, right? What's compelling is what emerges from the set pieces that are there. So getting people to pay that $15 a month requires basically not letting them have what they want for long periods of time. So let's go ahead and let's talk about the other game modes. So there's three different ways that people accomplish games as a service. Now, the World of Warcraft was one of the most profitable. I think probably the most profitable one is going to be number 2, which is the Call of Duty format, which is an annual installment plus additional content that you have to pay for regularly. Map packs, basically. So Call of Duty with the release of Call of Duty 4 Modern Warfare on the Xbox 360 and PlayStation 3, you got a new paradigm that was established by Activision. Obviously, they had learned from World of Warcraft, and they were going to apply that to Call of Duty in a new and interesting way. And that was, they were going to take Call of Duty, put a Call of Duty out every single year. So you got, and it rotates through the different titles. There's Call of Duty Modern Warfare, you had Modern Warfare 2, you had Black Ops, you have Modern Warfare 3. So it alternates between a couple of different titles. I think the one this year is Cold War. So they try to come out with an original thing. Now what you get is the same gameplay. So it's the same game. Very, very few alterations of the gameplay. Like maybe there's different guns that act slightly differently, but ultimately it's a 3D shooter. You're running around a small little map trying to kill other people. That's the PvP. Or, you're basically on an on-rail shooter for the campaign. And I actually think the Modern Warfare campaign is pretty decent for what it is. And that one, the Call of Duty 4 was like the revolution one. People really wanted to do the Modern Warfare thing rather than World War II. So anyway, that's what they figured out. But then, you have that come out every year. Creates, quote, Call of Duty season is what they called it. Everybody, all the dude bros want to buy the new Call of Duty game and play it. And the old Call of Duty game just becomes a ghost town. There's still people who play last year's Call of Duty. But it's way less than the people who are playing this year's Call of Duty. And then every couple months you make people buy a map pack. Or you make them pay a season pass. Hey, buy the season pass for $40. You get all the map packs and save $10 or something like that, or $20. So people will do that. So all of a sudden, they're already paying $100 for the game. People are talking about $70 games. People are already paying $100, $120 for Call of Duty every year. Break that down to a monthly subscription, guys. That's $10 a month. So Call of Duty is already making $10 to $15 a month for its serious users. So it's already kind of duplicated that system. Not quite as good as Warcraft, where they can make you buy the expansion for $40 and pay a subscription on top of that, but it's still pretty good. And by the way, I still have the receipt from when I bought Burning Crusade. My friends were like, I think we're not going to play Burning Crusade. I went and bought it for them because they were poor. And I'm like, we're playing this freaking game. We're playing it. And we loved Burning Crusade. It was great. So that's the Call of Duty style one. And everybody wants to get on that Call of Duty train. Everybody's trying to make a game like Call of Duty. In the case of EA, they were trying to make Battlefield, I think, that was like it. And they had some really original versions, like Battlefield Bad Company 2, I think, which was a pretty original take on the entire genre, I think. But it just petered out because it wasn't, the head honchos come in, why aren't you doing something that's exactly like Call of Duty? We want that Call of Duty money in our pockets. So that's that one. Now, there's one more, too. The mobile style. Mobile style, there's a bunch of little subgenres. Gacha games. Gacha is a big one because you get people to gamble. If you can get people to gamble, it's like you're getting free money from people if you can get them to gamble. So mobile style is no initial upfront investment. And there's a bunch of MMOs that pioneered this actually before the mobile stuff. Free-to-play MMOs were a thing 10 years ago, and they were always awful, but lots of people tried them and lots of people committed money to them. So, how do mobile games get you? Well, they ask you for no upfront commitment. It's free to play. Is it really free to play? We all know that it's not really free to play. Rather, it's free to begin playing. It's free to check out. It's free to play very casually. But if you're one of those people who wants to play seriously and have achievement, all of a sudden you're going to have to pay a lot of money. And once again, Activision is got its thumb in this pie too. That's why they make a lot of money, because they have Hearthstone. So under Activision, we have 3 different games that have 3 different models, all basically the best in class. You have Hearthstone, which is a gacha game. People don't like to think it's a gacha game. In fact, if you talk to most Hearthstone players who don't play mobile gacha games, they're like, it's a gacha game? We're like, yes, it is, but your gachas are the cards, not like anime waifus or something, right? So you have Hearthstone. What Hearthstone does is, hey, you got to have a substantial ongoing monetary investment in order to stay competitive, in order to have access to the meta, in order to be able to compete in the meta. You got to keep buying cards. You got to buy the new adventure, play through it, and get that Dr. Boom card or whatever it is that everybody has to have in their deck to be competitive. And that's the way they set it up. They have a couple cards that are super powerful. They're overpowered, and they don't really nerf them like Dr. Boom because they want people to spend a lot of money to buy the cards to get them. It becomes mandatory in every single deck. I think, there was a Piloted Shredder, I think, was the one that was like every deck was improved by having Piloted Shredder. I think that's what it was. Because when it died, it summoned like a random 3-cost minion. The value was insane. Same thing with Dr. Boom. So every deck had to have Dr. Boom. Every deck had to have that Piloted Shredder. Every single deck needed to have it. So if you didn't have it, you needed to buy cards until you could get it or you couldn't compete. So that's the way they did it. And they put people into a mode. And Hearthstone originally started, there were no adventures. It was just PvP. So people had to go into the mode where they had to pay money to compete. Black Desert Online does this. You can either grind for 100 hours or you can pay a little bit of money and then you can compete. So all of these games ask you for money that's ongoing. In the case for free-to-play stuff, it's pay money to have access to the high-level stuff that you want to do. In the case of World of Warcraft, it's pay money to have access to grind to get what you want. In the case of Call of Duty, it's pay access to play with where the other people are. The other people are in the modern game. They're in this year's game and this month's map pack. So you're going to have to buy both if you want to play with people. If you want to play with your friends, you're going to have to buy the map pack. Sorry, guys. So that's the way that they create these games as service models. So those are the 3 ones. Call of Duty, very, very profitable, obviously. World of Warcraft, very, very profitable, obviously. Hearthstone, extremely profitable considering what a slim little game it is and how little there actually is to the development of Hearthstone. Massively profitable. So you can look at all three of those. So let's go ahead and I want to check out the chat again, and we'll take a look at that. So those are the three ones. Now, how do you know this? What's the cycle of these, and how do you disengage? So you'll notice the cycle happens when people get bored. So people will get bored of the gameplay, which means that they need to come out with something new. So you buy Call of Duty, Black Ops, whatever, Black Ops 4, whatever it is, and you play it, and you get bored of the maps. So you come out with another map pack. So the cycle is, as soon as somebody is supposed to get bored, you're going to try to come out with the next thing to keep them interested. If you're aware that they're only coming out with content to keep you committed, that's when you're going to be able to know that it's time to disengage. So if you are not having fun playing the game, you can at any time turn it off and turn your subscription off. World of Warcraft is an excellent example. Even though we have all of these expansions, really what you're looking at is one game, which is the modern expansion. The only game that matters is the modern expansion. Everything else doesn't matter. It's been that way from the beginning. So, of course, they got rid of the leveling experience because it's all about the modern game. The leveling experience is, why don't you go play a sample of something people played 10 years ago and it might be fun for a couple hours, and then you get to play our current game. You get to play this year's expansion. You get to play this game and get into that and play that. So as soon as you realize you're not having fun with it, just turn it off. That's what you have to know. Is once you start to get bored, once you feel like you're repeating the same things over and over again, that's exactly what they're wanting you to do, is to continue playing the exact same game. If you get tired of the gameplay, you got to be able to turn it off. You actually aren't losing that much. Let's say you play Battle for Azeroth, as I did for the first couple months, got through the first raid, and then we're like, I'm bored of this. Turned it off. How much did you lose any ground? Now you can resub right now and do Raid Finder if you want to see the raid. You could even grind out the gear and do the raids for real, and like in the next 2 weeks if you wanted to. Or you could have resubbed last month and done everything at the end of the expansion. I did that with Legion. I played beta, did all the stuff in beta, decided it wasn't for me. I thought the leveling experience of Legion was so nerfed. I just couldn't believe how easy it was. This one's way easier. It's way easier now. But it was really, really, really nerfed. I'm like, this is so nerfed. The game's so easy. You know, I was like at max level on my Hunter. I think I was like soloing elites, which just was like, this is dumb. This is supposed to be done with the group. And then when I resubbed at the end of Legion, I could solo open world bosses on a priest. That's how easy Legion was. It was so easy. It was really, really easy. It was probably the easiest expansion. Probably easier than WoD, for sure. WoD had some challenges. So when you get bored, turn it off. Come back later. They give you a bunch of things to catch you up. They're like, hey, here's a bunch of free gear and stuff to just catch you up to where everybody else is so you can play with everybody else. You're like, I didn't really lose anything by turning it off. But that's how they want you to do, is like, if you aren't getting the gear, you won't be ready for the next patch, won't be ready for the next expansion. No. I remember that at Classic, people were like, they're good. We got to get tier 3 or we won't be able to raid in Burning Crusade. I'm like, nah, dude, they're doing a huge gear reset. I know that they're going to do it because they just want everybody to, and that's what they did. They gear reset every expansion because it's really just it's the Call of Duty model, but with a monthly expansion. It's just the game also includes all the past games. It'd be like if you bought Call of Duty Cold War, and it included every Call of Duty game since Modern Warfare, since the original Call of Duty 4. That's what it would be like. So that's World of Warcraft now. Okay. So you got to be aware of how that works and step out of it. Same thing if you're going to play Genshin Impact, which is a very fun game. As soon as it starts asking you for money, you know that it's asking you to continue pay to continue to have access to the game you want to play. Feel free to turn it off at that point. You're not going to be losing that much because these storylines in these games as service games rarely resolve, or the story is just not part of the product. Like in Call of Duty, there's a campaign, but it doesn't, people want to play the multiplayer, so the campaign is almost irrelevant to them, So it's not like you get the resolution of the story from the campaign and then whatever. You don't have to worry about that anymore. With gacha games, they will never resolve the storylines. This is something that I can't think of a gacha game that actually does it. Like Fire Emblem Heroes has these separate books where like the storyline resolves, And then they come out with the next one. They come out with a new story. So they're always coming out with a new little story for it. They do this from time to time, but it never really ends. You never get to the last boss and kill him and done. It's not like a regular game where you're like, here's Final Fantasy this, and you put it in and you get the last boss. And you're like, that was fun, and you turn the game off and play a different game. They don't want you to do that. They want you to keep playing the game, which means when you get to the end, you're like, well, we have some new stuff for you. There's always something. There's always a carrot on a stick, a next thing to do. And in the past, Blizzard was very good at setting up World of Warcraft. So like, it was so hard to say kill Kel'Thuzad. And then even if you kill him, it's like, well, we got to work on our RTS, or we got to get all of our gear so that we can stomp people in battlegrounds and do that kind of stuff. That's where you end up with this kind of thing. Here we go. Are you familiar with the band Disturbed? Yes. Have you heard their cover of The Sound of Silence? I don't remember it. I'm not a fan of Disturbed. Well, what you said before about Gacha being denial gambling. Yeah, I hate the system, but holy heck does it work. Yes, I agree, Kombi-chan. Selling mesh on social MMOs does insanely well with Gacha, with the Gacha model. Absolutely. If you can sell something where somebody's uncertain about what they're going to get, they'll spend more money to get it. And they'll keep doing it over and over again because you just come out with the next thing. Like, oh, here's another cool unit. Oh, I got to spend my money to get that. Extremely profitable in social MMOs where users can upload their own mesh creations. Second Life in particular, which I've never played, you can consider Gacha decoration and follower creation a side job. That's cool. Hearthstone, they have to have overpowered cards in the set or else the players get mad. The Grand Tournament had really subdued cards because they went too crazy with Dr. Boom. And people complained. Yeah, but that's why they have those in there, is because people, when you get Dr. Boom, it's really fun to own the noobs at the beginning of the cycle. So you come out with the new content. If you're one of those lucky people that got Dr. Boom with your first pack, you're gonna like, you could be like, oh, I could just grind up to Legend right now because Dr. Boom is the best card in the game by a wide margin. Then everybody else eventually gets it by spending lots of money or by grinding out gold, and then you're not as powerful anymore. But if you're on the front edge of that the power curve, they unlock new power each patch. And they do this with Warcraft too. If you're on the front edge, you feel really powerful and it's really fun. That was really fun in World of Warcraft. Like if you had good gear, especially in Classic, and you could go out and stomp somebody, it's like you wanted to get gear to then go into Battlegrounds just to kill people because it was fun to stomp noobs into the ground. Like it was, I got a PvE to PvP. I do PvE so that then I can go kill people in PvP easily. Grand Theft Auto Online seems to be like this. And you got to pay to have a better experience. Yeah. They're always going to have a new thing seasonally, and it's always going to be worse than like if you just bought a full game. I remember playing Final Fantasy 13 kind of years after it came out. And I was so happy to play the game. Whatever you think about it, it's not the best. It's not my favorite Final Fantasy game. But I'm like, this is a complete game. I'm like, this game has all the content in it. I can just play this game until I get to the end. And that's it. Now there is like post-game content. Like you can go out and do hard bosses in Chapter 11 or whatever. But I skipped that. I beat the Orphan or whatever. Beat that last crazy boss and stopped Cocoon from crashing into Grand Pulse. And I was like, that's super satisfying. And I was hanging out with my son when he did it. And he thought it was really cool. He's like, yeah, we fought, you killed the boss. And I was like, great. So I turned that off. And I was done with the game. I was like, how cool is that I could just play through the game and be done? They got rid of the map packs in Call of Duty since it split the player base. They tried loot boxes, but people got pissed, so they have free maps, but a battle pass you can buy. So the battle pass is another one. And there's a battle pass in Genshin. In Genshin Impact. Battle Pass basically gives you tiny rewards for doing the things that you would want to do in the game. It's a way to micro rewards to keep you playing the game, so you want to continue playing it. I think they're actually extremely manipulative. I don't like them at all, and so I don't like that. I don't like that Genshin has that, because you look at it and it's like, oh yeah, they're giving me. It's like a big quest list of stuff to do. I don't like checklists in games. I like to progress forward. Some people criticize American creators for exoticizing foreign cultures when portraying samurai, etc. But foreign creators do the same to American culture, cowboys, etc. Yeah, I think you're right, Hardwick. And I don't have a problem with it. I think that that's something that's specifically localized to like urban Western people that don't really live in the country. They're not aware of what kind of culture they experience or don't experience. You know, if I do something like I've written a samurai novel, I don't know where it is right now, but you know, you can read it. It's called Murmasa Blood Drinker. People really love it. And it's a very good book. It's very exciting, and it's got some great samurai action in it. You know, if someone's like, you know, you are culturally appropriating Japanese culture. Well, let's be fair. Nobody in Japan was alive in the Muromachi period when I wrote the book. No one was alive in 1511. The culture of Japan in 2020 is inherited many things from 1511, but not that many. Not so much that like someone from Japan would immediately understand every little thing about existing in 1511 as a samurai. Obviously not, because it's a different culture. So it's like, in a certain way, we'd both have to read history books to know what the heck Japan in 1511 was like. So if we both read the history books and learn about it, is he somehow less of a cultural appropriator because he's in the same geographic location? You know, I don't think so, really. I mean, neither one of us lived during that time. Same thing with medieval England. So if a Japanese company makes a game that's like medieval European, who would get mad about that? It's like, cool, this guy's running around in Gothic armor. Gothic armor's rad. It's like Dark Souls, right? Gothic armor's rad. I don't care that someone from Japan is appropriating Gothic armor. But my ancestors wore Gothic armor. How dare you culturally appropriate my Gothic armor? No, it's a cool setting and cool armor, and it looks cool. And it is cool. Or Berserk, which is basically European fantasy. Uh-oh, it's a Japanese guy making European fantasy. That's for white people. No, it's for whoever wants to do it. We weren't alive in the Middle Ages either. The company's a little woke, but I like Guild Wars model. Pay for the base game once, and if you're online for new content, then they're all free. Yeah, they do like a. I don't really know how NCSoft makes a ton of money doing that, but they do. I mean, they do make money. The Battle Pass in Modern Warfare 2019 really creeps me out in a way. People claim it gives you enough free money to buy the next Battle Pass, but you only get it if you pay for it. Yeah, it's really about creating a bunch of task lists that keep you plugged into the game and playing longer, because they know the longer you play, the more you're going to keep playing, the more you're going to feel invested in it. Warcraft does this too, right? You have a character, you give it a name. You don't want to just leave your character to die. You know, you can't just delete your character and that, you know, at this point, I have characters with 15 years of history, 16 years of history on them. 16 years worth of gear. This is my first green that I got back in 2004. It's like, it doesn't exist. It's not even real. Who cares? It never existed. But that's one of the ways they keep you kind of roped in. The last few Call of Duties have tried the single player and multiplayer together, having the storyline continue past single player and having elements continue in the multiplayer. I haven't really played it, so I don't know. What are your thoughts on Picasso? I don't really like Picasso's art. It's not really for me. It's a great example of like the modernist art, which is about trying to create new aesthetics rather than viewing aesthetics as mutable and variable and just without meaning. It's an attempt to create new ones. So if you look at any of Picasso went through these various phases. That's him working within an aesthetic that he designed himself, a new aesthetic. So it's kind of interesting to look at, but I don't really like the end product very much. I'm a fan of pretty much romantic and post-romantic and that which inherits it, which is going to be most fantasy art these days, which is more realist or surrealist and idealist, right? Rather than abstract. I don't really like abstract art very much. It's not really for me. Zelda was made by Japanese, yes, and it was originally a Christian game. Link has a cross on his shield. The book is called The Bible in the original Japanese version. There's even concept art of him praying before a crucifix. it's fundamentally was originally Christian, and Link was a Christian European hero. No one has a problem with it because it's a good game and it's really fun. Rip to all those forgotten MMO characters that died with their servers. Always hated that feeling. I actually had I had my Aeon character get deleted because I didn't migrate the character over, or I didn't do something with my account. I didn't upgrade my account into a new NCSoft account, and I lost my character, and it was very upsetting. But I was like, I wasn't even playing the game, so who cares? And then I played again, and I got up to like max level really quickly with better gear. And I'm like, who cares? It's just like especially with Aeon, like you design every little detail of their face, their body, their skin tone. You're designing everything about the character, like down to the finest detail. And then that character goes into the abyss. It's like, I created this character, and now he's dead. Yeah. Link was Catholic. Make Link Catholic again. Yeah, people see this cosmetic only, but if that's the only way that you progress, then cosmetic is not merely cosmetic. That's how progression happens. It happens cosmetically. Cosmetics are a big deal in World of Warcraft still. Like, that's a reward for really high level stuff, is you get a cosmetic that no one else has. The fact that it's novel, you get in that novelty cycle. It really helps if you have that kind of stuff. Anyway, where are we at? It's 3:23. We've been talking for almost an hour. What else was I going to talk about? I said something on Twitter. I talked about game cycles. What else was I going to talk about? Deals with the devil. All right. I think I'll just make a separate video on Deals with the Devil. Here's the thing about Deals with the Devil. I have a book that I will try to come out with as soon as I can, but I haven't been able to write it this week because my daughter has decided that she's not going to sleep at night. So I've been staying up till like 1. Last night I was up till 2 in the morning with my daughter, which meant I didn't get to do a whole lot of writing. I actually wrote 1,000 words yesterday still, which is pretty cool that I was still able to do that. But anyway, so this has been going on for like a week or two. I really wanted to finish up this book. But anyway, there's a deal with the devil with the book. So here's what you need to know with Deals with the Devil. Yeah. Here's what you need to know with Deals with the Devil. Is that you make a deal with the devil to get something that you think you want. This is how it exists in a literary form, in a literary sense. And what you get from that deal is always something worse than what you thought you were getting. So you make a deal with the devil. I want this woman to love me. And it turns out that your infatuation with the woman was short-lived, and once you got to really know her, you didn't love her back, but she was in love with you, and now you're in a bad situation. At the same time, it costs you something that you don't understand the cost of. Your immortal soul. So when you're 18 and you don't really think about your soul, the significance of your soul, it's like later on you get the worst of it. Der Freischütz, which is one of my favorite operas, you have a character that has 5 magic bullets. He's the best shot in town. He wants to win the hand of like the mayor's daughter, but all of a sudden he can't shoot before this contest. I don't know what happens. Well, of course, who's got their hand behind this? It's the devil. The devil's making him not able to hit. So the devil's exerting influence over him to disrupt what he should be able to do. So he makes a deal with the devil. Basically, I'm trying to remember the actual name of the character, but he's a stand-in for the devil. And in my book, because it's fantasy, it's high fantasy, it's a stand-in for the devil, and you're going to meet the devil character for my greater universe in this next book. But devil gives him 5 magic bullets, I think. It says there's 4 magic bullets. They'll hit whatever you want them to hit, but the 5th bullet hits what I want it to hit. So he goes through the shooting contest, and of course his bullets hit the bullseye 4 times in a row, and he wins. So he's won the hand of the fair maiden, and then the mayor says, "Can you demonstrate your prowess one more time?" And now I'm actually thinking of the folktale, not the opera at this point. But he shoots at the target the 5th time, and the bullet hits his beloved. So the deal with the devil he ended up not getting what he wanted, and ended up losing everything that he really wanted. So this is the way deals with the devil end up working out. And so we see them in literature. Oh, thank you for the super chat. Good evening, David. I hope all is going well with you and your family. Pretty good, except for my daughter not sleeping at night. She sleeps there in the afternoon. She'll sleep for like 3 hours straight. Put her down at night. She wakes up 30 minutes later. Hi, Dada. Go. She woke up in the middle of the night asking for chocolate. From a legal perspective, the devil has made a contract in bad faith, meaning the contract is voidable by the aggrieved party, though he must give the market value of the bullets. Yeah, good luck arguing that with the devil. He's the one who created lawyers. The devil's be like, you're arguing with the supreme lawyer of them all right now. You're not going to win that legal argument. So, yeah, so that's the way deals with the devil work out, is that you get something other than what you wanted, what you really wanted, or you get what you think you wanted, but it turns out it's not what you really wanted, or the cost is something that you don't understand, or you're not aware of what the actual transaction is. There's always a hidden part to the deal that works out badly for the person who's making the deal. So that's something that I think is pretty fun to look at when we're looking at deals with the devil. And we can, if you're going to transfer that over into real life, it's like when you make a sacrifice where you don't understand the value of the sacrifice you're making, it's kind of like making a deal with the devil. If you make a sacrifice and you get something and it turns out to not be what you wanted, then that's that feeling of disappointment that you get with the deal with the devil. So like if you sacrifice your health, say you sacrifice your health to get some award, like you're going to be a bodybuilder. So you take a bunch of drugs and then you die early. So you didn't really get to enjoy your fame and fortune really at all because you died early. You're like Ronnie Coleman, you're like big Ronnie Coleman, and you end up with such severe back injuries that you can't walk. So the second half of your life is miserable because you gave it all for the first half of your life to win 8 Mr. Olympias. Now so you look at the value of that. It's like you made a deal with the devil to get something you wanted, but at the end of the day, it ended up not giving you what you really wanted, perhaps. I'm not going to speak for Ronnie on Ronnie's behalf, but I bet Ronnie probably wouldn't take it back because he cared about being the best ever, and he was. But, that's the deal with the devil. What are your thoughts on Alice Cooper? He can no longer sing. His voice has been gone for years. I've seen him live several times. He always has a great band, though. So if you can go see him, live, he usually has a really, really, really great live show. Like one of the best live shows I've seen. Great theatrics and everything like that. But he's not a good singer, but he always has a great backup band with him. Pre-Raphaelites were a great movement in post-romantic aesthetics. Yes. Where does anime art fit in the fight between postmodern and traditionalists? It's not part of that fight because that's really more about, that's really happening on the academic side. So anime art is just a side thing. It's just a style that's part of traditional illustration as far as I'm concerned, or manga art. It's a little bit different thing. What's up, Jesse? What do you think of naturalism in writing, as in the movement which sought to reject romanticism? I'm probably not equipped to just answer that off the cuff because I don't think I haven't read that much naturalism. I mean, you get the same duality with romanticism and naturalism, though. It kind of evolves into what they end up calling realism and idealism in the post-romantic, which is that the realist would depict everything, in the writing. So, like, they might mention that the character was urinating somewhere, versus an idealist would never mention somebody's bodily functions in prose, and would never describe somebody's anything. You just avoid some of the more real aspects of life, like menstruation and having to go to the bathroom or headaches, things like that. That stuff is present in realism. So if you're reading something and they're very, they seem a little bit willing to talk about bodily functions, you're reading something that's kind of inspired by the realists. And if you are reading something that avoids it, like Lord of the Rings, it's very much in the idealist camp. You're never going to read a scene where Frodo has to relieve himself. You're never going to read a scene where Sam sneaks off in the bushes to masturbate or something. It's not going to be part of it. But you are going to find those things in a Stephen King book because he's more on the realist side. He wants to describe people actually doing these things that are not polite, let's say. You know, or like that the food doesn't, you know, the way that they're eating the food or something like that. You know, Tolkien will briefly describe food. A realist would describe it perhaps in more detail. But if you go far enough back, you get that. So romanticism, you know, romanticism really became idealism, I think. What do you think of the idea of RTS FPS games? I don't know any. I can't say. I haven't played any, but it's fun. His name is Samuel. Samuel, that's right. In Die Shoots. I know, Jesse, I know that's one of your favorite operas too, which I love it. Samuel's Credo. Shinch Troffen. Sieben Affen. 6 will hit. The 7th is the monkeys. That's right. So it's 7. Yeah. So the last one ends up hitting the woman. Of course, in the opera, she survives. But it's a great lesson. It's a great lesson. It's one of my favorites. I want to find like some good. I want to find like a good video recording of it. I have a couple of. I have an old vinyl of it somewhere. It's actually pretty good. I'm trying to remember what company it is. I want to say it's a New York opera company. It's really good. One of my favorites. Reply Lord of the Rings. I'm sure I remember seeing the movie where Sam wanted to share the load. Oh, gross, dude. The Hearts of Stone part of Witcher 3 is a deal with the Devil's Story. Yes, somebody mentioned that somewhere else, maybe on Twitter. It's good. What are your thoughts on Giuseppe Verdi? I do like Verdi. And in general, do you prefer Italian or German opera? That's a hard one. I guess, you know, I prefer Italian opera. I don't know. I think I listen to more Baroque Italian opera. So if you're going to the Baroque, I listen to more Italian French. There wasn't really like a lot of German operas in the Baroque period, though. I like a lot Italian Baroque and French Baroque music a lot these days. But then I guess I prefer the German stuff for the 19th century. 19th century German opera was just there's just so many great ones. You know, there's so many good ones. So yeah, there's so many good stuff. Anyway, let's play a game or something, and I'll show you World of Warcraft. It's very fast on. Let's see how fast we can get a level. Blizzard agent went to sleep, attempting to wake it up. That sounds kind of ominous. I feel like we've lost something in opera. I feel like opera has become, I don't know. It was always for the elite, but now it's like for the elite and new operas are not good. It got replaced by like musicals. Musicals are just not opera. They just don't have the weight. They just don't do it for me. All right. So here's a level 24 shaman. With some heirloom gear on. Even the devil is bound by the law. That's why you can't cut down all the laws to get after the devil. Well, I mean, the devil would be compelled to obey God, too. I mean, demons obeyed Jesus, which meant that they're, of course, subservient for him. They have to obey his power. Even like in rebellion, they have to obey him. And how much XP did I get for that? I wasn't paying attention. How much XP? I don't know. I wasn't paying attention. Each quest is basically giving me like a quarter of a level. I need to install like a WAD mod to get rid of all these dumb things. I never send more guys out on missions. There's really not a lot of reason to do these, but here you go. Do them. Sometimes they give a reward. Like if you can get a gear reward for them, then they're pretty good to do. Why not? We'll put you 3 in here. Maybe you'll win, maybe you'll lose, who cares? I'm going to turn this light off because it is bright. Woo! It's better. I have like my other lights on though, so those are probably okay. You can see me a little bit. The red light you can see is just doing this part of my face because I put up another monitor here and I can't see it. Yeah, if you're playing Garrisons, you're playing an abstraction of the game you're supposed to be playing while you're playing it. Yeah, it's just not very fun in the long run. So, like, Ghost Wolf makes stuff pretty fast. I wrote Voices of the Void last year. You guys can get it for 99 cents. I'll link it right now. So, I've come out with like 7 books since then. There you go. 99 cents. I think I gave it away free last week. So people really like Voices of the Void too. It's a quick read. You can read it in like 2 hours. All right. Where are my quests at? I think I have one to go get Nat Packle, but that's going to be a waste of time. So what we should do is probably travel down here and then go over here into Twilight. Yeah, that's what we need to do. Okay. Imbari Village. Speaking of musicals, have you ever seen My Fair Lady or Singing in the Rain? I have. Not in a long time. They're okay, but I don't really love them. Yep, I have the entire Voices... Well, I don't have the entire Voices of the Void. I was trying to record it, and then I came down with coronavirus and lost my voice for like 2 weeks and could barely talk. So I just never picked it back up because there's very, very little interest in audiobooks on YouTube or otherwise. So, I mean, eventually I'll have an audiobook for it, but, the desire to complete that is somewhat limited when there's just no demand for it, And it also gets somewhat disheartening when you're making YouTube content and it's like, let's see if this gives any experience. No, I don't think it does. That's too bad. It'd be cool if it gave experience. Get a couple more trees on the way. Get a quest for turning in the lumber. There's like these void touched guys. Sometimes there's a bonus quest out here, and like these are actually pretty good to do. They give a lot of experience, and they're really easy to do. The Nightmare Marsh. Look at these cool 3-headed dragons. The Hydras. I remember those from Classic. I loved them. You had one. Where was the first one? Gazrilla? Come on, let me climb up this stupid mountain. Check out Eximius Seize the Frontline. It's an FPS RTS hybrid. It looks really cool. You know what? I think I remember... I'm trying to remember a game that had elements of that. I remember the Battlezone game from the 90s, which was really fun. I would love to see more games like that. You're doing RTS stuff, but in first person, so it's really interesting. Do I have water walking yet? I don't. I don't think I do. We gotta go around this way. Slow, 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 slow. What are your thoughts on The Devil and Daniel Webster? WoW did a level squish, and they nerfed the XP needed pretty significantly, so you can level up a tune in just a couple days. It's really just like you have a little bit of stuff, you play a little bit of content from one of the past games, and then you're ready to play the new game. That's all leveling is now. All right, here he is. Here's Prophet Valen. Apparently I can still be a Shadow Moon Orc. while in Ghost Wolf. Perfect. Yeah, I don't remember The Devil and Daniel Webster. Maybe I never read it. Probably didn't read it. Is daily training going to come back someday? Yeah, I see. I got coronavirus and stopped that too. So I should bring that back. I kind of thought about doing like an entire channel that was just that. Oh, here's this guy. Here, we'll kill him real quick. There's the guy's attacking me. Should have interrupted that. Oh well. Whatever. I will interrupt that. Get some loot. Legacy of Omra. There we go. And I also enchanted my gear. Like I put this Mark of the Satyr on here. That just like randomly kill a guy. It's pretty cool. So yeah, I mean, I'd like to do daily training again. I think it's something I could do on my downtime pretty easily. But at the same time, I don't know. I have to keep it kind of limited because my time is just really short right now. I feel like it's something I could do in like 15 or 20 minutes. And just do it. So you can see how quickly I can do all this. I'm just going to level up here in a second. Now we got to kill this guy. History's greatest villains are half Revolutionary War Tories. It's not a great jury. Franz Liszt. I like Franz Liszt's music. I haven't played a lot of it. I've listened to a lot of it. The preludes are good. I don't know. I'm not a Liszt scholar, so couldn't just pull stuff out of my butt to say this is like what I like or this is what I don't like. I'm not a big piano player, so I haven't played a lot of that kind of stuff. I played more Chopin than really anything. See, like, just picking that up gave me a bunch of experience. Just kind of go around here. There's another... Kill this guy. Gotta hit the sack. Good to catch the stream. Oh, you must be, like, somewhere abroad. Thanks for stopping by. I appreciate it. Yeah, I should bring back daily trending. It's something I feel like I could record on my phone. That's why I started doing it. It's because I'm like, man, I'm so busy with these kids. You know, it's like, can I do something while like my son is doing a math sheet or something? I don't know. Also, a cool thing about homeschooling is like, yeah, there's no more Columbus Day. I'm like, you know what? We're taking Columbus Day off. We're celebrating Columbus Day in this house. We're going to celebrate Columbus Day and we're going to learn about Columbus. Not only do you not have to do any schoolwork today, you get to learn about Christopher Columbus, who sailed the ocean blue in 1492. So, yeah, if you say WoW's a withered husk of its foreign self, it depends what you want it to be. They are just, they're very much accepting the reality that like they only care about the current year. Oh, I might need to heal. I think I have a PvP talent that just like heals me in Ghost Wolf form. That's pretty cool. Get this rubbing here. Alright, this one's attacking me. Boop. Boop. I think I lost my orc disguise though. I'm a desecrator of the Shadow Moon burial grounds. I think by picking up these peaceful offerings. They give you experience, so why would I not do it? You know what I'm saying? Look, there's another one. If you pick up all of them, I think it summons a guy who tries to kill you. Maybe this thing. It's Kaleri. Whatever it is. Gotta find more priestesses. What do you think about the current dislike towards Columbus? I think it's just more modern, edgy stuff. It's okay to be realistic about Christopher Columbus and like all the things he did. Like he did things that were not nice. But like Indigenous Peoples Days, like, you know, people are complaining on Twitter about this kind of thing. Look, oh, we leveled up. Without realizing that they are able to complain on Twitter because of Christopher Columbus. Yeah, aren't we being a dick here by looting these tombs? Boop, boop, boop. Still haven't killed all the priests I need to kill. More priests! Oh, here they are. Look at this. There's a huge group of them here. Oh man, I aggroed all of them. This is gonna be bad. Run away! They're all chasing me. Alright, we'll get this one. How many more do I have to kill? Like, one more. Alright, good. Bam. Go turn this in. Look at all that experience. I just got 1/3 of a level from that. I'd rather listen to you read your books than watch your game. Just saying. I'm not going to read books live on a stream. That's very boring. Keep in mind, I'm also a businessman. Right? So I'm not going to do things that no one's going to pay attention to. I'm gonna have to go back and get the orc disguise. No, I have the orc disguise. There we go. Here we go. I think I have to. Okay, I have to apply. Do this one first, or yeah, let's do this one. We'll do this one first. How do I get up here? Oh, here's the path. Uh-oh. Oh, I think the dog saw me is what it was. Void wolves. Chain lightning. She got a little death alert there. Go up. Write your next book as you play an MMO, then you can read that to us. Do I lose it? No. Still have the orc suit on. But we gotta avoid the dogs. You can see through the dogs can see through the disguise. Gotta avoid those doggies. They're just like, oh, that's just a wolf running through our midst. Like, I can click this and a peon's going to come out and log it in the middle of this orc camp. That seems kind of dumb. Avoid touched pumpkin. Oh, that's cool. Happy Halloween! Avoid touched pumpkin. Iron Horde propaganda. Ooh, a free chest with a tiny iron star trinket. I didn't even know what I picked up off that guy earlier. I got something. I didn't even look at it. Got some kind of item. Don't know what. Oh, look, we got food. I don't know what I got off of him. Wasn't even paying attention. Probably not important. Probably not all that important what I got from him. Boop, 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 boop. Boop, 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 boop. Chapter 6, Connection Lags and Resetting the Router. Talk about realist. Doing just the garrison setup nets you a level or two. For Legion content, it's about that with just doing the setup for class hall and getting the first weapon. Yeah, free XP and also no chance of getting ganked while you have war mode on. So like the downside, the quote downside of war mode is that you're going to get ganked. Like the horde just ran past here. But the upside is that you're probably not going to get ganked and you get 10% XP. So if you're in a place where you're just really not going to get ganked, like Westfall, then you know, do it. Who's that? Arnok the Burner, huh? Is anything in here? Iron Horde propaganda. Join the Iron Horde today. The first video I saw of yours was about, oops. Was about the split between Sargon and Thunderfoot. Next one is about Brexit. And then I saw your older vid kind of critiquing TFA. This keep it up. Thank you. Yeah, I just talked about Thunderfoot because I was like, I just felt like talking about this. And didn't really think too much about it after that. Where do I need to set this bomb? Over there, huh? Oh, crap. Where did that meat go? I wonder if I could just kind of like set a bomb. Okay. Go back here. And I think one more to set. And thank you for that. I really appreciate you watching. Yeah, people were, I don't know, that video, like, people were like, why are you talking about it? And you only have, like, 30,000 subs. I'm like, that's a lot. 30,000 is probably 29,999 more people than are caring about your opinion. I hate to say that, but, like, you know, it's like, these guys have 100,000. You have 30,000. Therefore, your opinion is stupid. Okay. I'll remember that. It's kind of like the no one cares what you think non-argument. Who cares what you think? Obviously you do because you're incredibly triggered by what I said. Read any of the Galaxy's Edge books? I'm just getting into them. Yeah. No, I haven't read them. I have the... What's the first one called? Is this called Galaxy's Edge? I Google it and it's just Star Wars stuff. Yeah, I think I have the first one. Oh, here's Errol. My good friend Errol. Alright. Help Errol escape from Shazgul. No problem. Believe in the light. Believe in yourself. All right. Look, see, here's another guy in Ghost Wolf. Legionnaire. I mean, that's a non-argument I get, Alformo. Anytime I have like a tweet go viral, they're like, you only have like 2,000 followers. Who cares about what you think? It's like, clearly you do, and a lot of people do because they retweeted it, you know. It's like you care because you read and you responded. And you got upset by the video or the tweet. So yes, you are the one who cares. The real question is, why should I care what you think? She popped wings. Get that pally. Oh, look. The other Earl that's doing the quest at the same time is just Caribor Guardian. That's awesome. So, like, there's another player here doing it, and that's his Earl. It's the same character, just it's labeled Caribor Guardian. There we go. I've always thought the argument regarding the high or low sub count means whether one's opinion are valid or not. Yeah, it's just it's a real common one. It's just somebody trying to cope with something they disagree with being popular. I just block very quickly now. It's mainly what I do. I don't give people time to. Whoa! Whoa! What is going on here? This is going to be interesting. Okay, I am probably going to die here. What just happened here? My gosh. What just happened? Something happened. Get on my no life mount here. See, and I know that whoever was making this did not anticipate anyone ever failing this quest. Like, I'm probably going to have to abandon it. No, like, I can just start it again. Let's get out of here. Okay. So it's like, what? How could you fail this quest? Like, we didn't anticipate thousands of beings spawning at once. That's all. I'm out of range. Well, no, it wasn't a multi-box. Those were a bunch of mobs that despawned as soon as we died. So there was something that got some kind of script got triggered wrong. Maybe by us, maybe by somebody else in the area. Because there's 3 people now doing this quest. See, Earl is whatever level you are, so yeah, this is where they all spawned. Yeah, what happened was, see, there's supposed to be, oh, I think it happened again. Because there's 2 people doing this. So that's what happened. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. Yeah, this is like incredibly bugged. This is like super buggy here. I don't think I have any totems bound either. This is insane. I may not be able to do this quest. Somehow Errol died though. So I think it's probably too many people trying to do the quest at once. Yes. This tiger is how do I explain this tiger? This was a mount that you had to get exalted with a faction that had one character out in Winterspring. And it was brutal. But if you got exalted, then you could use this mount without having to buy epic riding. So that was pretty cool back in the day. But basically, if you have the Winterspring Frost Saber, it's like a no life thing. But not only that, but I have the Insane title. Developing the Insane. We don't even need to get into the ridiculousness of getting the Insane title. You'd have to be insane to get it. And then I got it. I got it. Oh, it's going to happen again because there's 3 of them. This is going to be bad. Alright, I think this is actually normal. I think it's like working normal now. Yeah, look at that. Oh my gosh. You know what? If I just heal my Errol. Oh, my Errol died. Yeah, that's what it is. It's like everybody's getting triggered at once. What do I think of Pathfinder, George? If you do first edition Pathfinder, it's good. Second edition is pretty woke. It's like 5th edition D&D. So first edition Pathfinder's cool though. Isn't there one? Yeah, that's insane. So insane was, let's see if I can pull it up. Feats of strength. Let's see here. Reputation. Insane in the membrane. Okay. It is. You had to get honored with the Blood Cell Buccaneers. Notice I was also honored with the Blood Cell Buccaneers and exalted with Booty Bay. That requires you to do basically a quest in Dire Maul. Everlook, Gadget Zan, Ratchet, Darkmoon Fair, and Ravenhold. Ravenhold was a rogue faction that existed in Classic up through Wrath of the Lich King. I think Wrath of the Lich King was when I got the Insane title. There was also one on here that they took off, which was the Highborn rep. That was a rep that existed exclusively inside Dire Maul, and it was for these books that you got, which you could use to enchant, I think, your shoulders. I think it was shoulder enchants. So to get exalted with them, you have to farm out a bunch of pristine black diamonds in these books. But I also got, there's Chandrilar. Earn exalted status with the Chandrilar. So that's actually the craziest part, probably, and the most expensive part. Yeah, this is really broken. I'm going to probably have to just skip this. Either that or, like, get out of this shard here. I don't think I have Earthbind Totem on my bars. Now that I'm looking at them. No, I do. Use some kind of shield. There we go. Let me heal up. I may get through this, though, somehow. Dang it. I have a neck piece that gives you basically a sprint. What does this do? I think I'm gonna get through it somehow. Look at this. This is like Earl is like a raid boss here. She is overpowered. Stun these guys. Oh my gosh. I can't believe I'm getting through this. Crazy. Notice none of them are lootable. All of them spawned. Oh my gosh, they're spawning again. Oh, no, no! Oh, no, come on. Ah, it's because other people are doing this stupid quest. Oh, it's gonna kill my guy. Heal her up. Kill all these totems. Oh my gosh. This is ridiculous. This is like slowing me down so much. I can't believe this. This is so buggy because somebody else... And watch, that person's going to run back and start the quest again, and then we're going to end up in the same place. Because as soon as my guy's going to try to walk away, it's going to trigger all those guys, and then she's going to aggro again. She's going to aggro on him. Are they giving... I mean, they are giving experience. So, like, technically I'm going to level up here. From this little encounter. But... Alright, come on. Come on, Errol. Don't aggro any more dudes. Please. Please. All right. Finally. Finally, she can escape this camp. Uh-oh, here comes Terror Fang. Playing Rimworld while watching the stream. My hen just died because of drug overdose. Oh my gosh. I have 2 hens, but one of them might be a rooster. Not old enough to tell because they're different breeds. Everyone's like, I think it might be a rooster. I'm like, I don't know. It's like a hen to me. Problem is trying to catch it and like actually, you can... I know how to sex chickens because I used to be in the poultry industry, but I just don't want to like be grabbing a chicken and blowing on its butt. I'm like, it's just gonna be obviously a rooster in a couple weeks anyway. Okay, Errol. All right, we'll go turn that in. Boy, that took more time than I thought it would. Boom, level 26. Alright, now let's do these quests. What do we need? Engorged Heart and Swamp Lighter Dust. I guess we'll just kill everything. See if this druid has the right thing in mind. Gotta search the mud. Apparently. Coming off a little cold this week. The kids got a cold going to the corn maze last week because they played with other kids. I gotta squeeze the toad. Get some toad juice. Search some loose mud. Squeeze some more toad juice. There we go. Squeeze the toad. Sounds like a euphemism for something. How does one sex a chicken? You basically look in its cloaca to see if it has a penis or not. But the penis is like hidden inside the cloaca. You can do it on chicks by you grab the chick and you basically blow on the cloaca, which is its all-in-one orifice unit thing. Of course, lumber mill too. Let's sign up for that. And if it's a little chick, if it's a little rooster, basically the penis will pop out, and then you're like, it's a rooster. And you know, in the poultry industry, we just throw them into a grinder and kill them because you can't do a lot. You don't need all the roosters, you know. So, sounds really kind of crass when you think about it, but that's how it was back in the day. Gently squeeze the toad. Apparently that toad was unsqueezable. Nope, no it wasn't. Apparently I squeezed it. What is stacking up here? Wind Fury attacks. Alright, we got enough hearts. We got enough toad juice there. I just need this dust. So there's a giant rooster grinder. You load up the button, and yeah, it's like basically a wood chipper. There's a whole line of chicks. It's very industrial, and you have a guy who sexes them, and the hens you keep, and the roosters you mostly get rid of. You keep a couple breeding roosters around because what you do is you suck the semen out of their butt with a straw. You do this with turkeys. You have to do it with turkeys because the male turkeys can actually like hurt the females. And then you just inseminate a bunch of hens that you want to have chicks with that. You know, if you've ever had kids, you have that nose Frida thing that you use to like suck the snot out of kids' nose. Same idea, but it sucks chicken semen out of the butt, out of the cloaca, rather. And that is how you get chickens, guys. You also, when they get to be older hens, you'll usually blunt their beak. You basically snip off or grind off the end of their beak because the hens will peck each other to death if you don't do that. They will actually peck each other to death. Crazy, huh? Stupid slaughterfish. Oh, I could go into the depths about how chickens are actually processed too. So there's nobody who kills a chicken. Rather, it's done through a machine. And the best paying job at the plant is actually you take the chickens out of their cage and hook them into the shackles where they hang upside down. Then a stun gun electrocutes them and makes their neck fall down. Their neck is pressed between a rubber wheel, looks like a bicycle wheel, and a blade which cuts their jugular and kills them. And then they go through a room they go back and forth through this room, bleeding into a drain, and it looks like it's like a horror show. There's like chicken blood everywhere, and it smells awful. And then there's a guy in like a bunny suit. I never did this job, but I knew the guys who did it. And they would spray all the blood into a drain. The drain goes into this machine that condenses the blood into this brown sludge, which you turn into like really cheap dog and pig feed. And it smells awful. It's like really bad smell. And is there anything else? Clarity elixir. I think there's another quest pop up here. Yeah, and so we use like every part of the chicken. It's like the Indians used every part of the buffalo. It's like we use every part of that chicken. The feathers get turned into pillows. The feet are sent to China. They're frozen and sent to China because they like to make chicken foot soup out of them. Anyway, once the chicken's done bleeding out, it goes through this machine that looks like a car wash. It has all these rubber fingers, and it just knocks all the feathers off the bird. Which is... I think I'm going the wrong way here. Which is kind of funny. And then you suck those feathers up with a big vacuum, and you can make various things out, various pillows, cheap pillows out of the chicken feathers. And what else? Yeah, I mentioned the chicken feet. Then the bird goes to the line where it gets filleted, And whatever's left over on the skeleton gets pushed against this metal grate. It looks like a screen. And it gets squished into what's called mechanically separated meat. So-called pink slime. And that's what you make Slim Jims out of, guys. So if you like Slim Jims, you make them out of the mechanically separated meat. From chicken and turkeys. And that's what the hot dogs are made out of. And like chicken McNuggets. Never walked a John. I don't watch live streams usually because it's no offense to anyone watching this because you're watching my live stream, but I just don't have a lot of time to have. So sometimes if I catch one, it's because I'm doing some other task, like I'm working on my website or something else, or I just need something else going on. Cool, I got a follower from that. But I don't watch a lot of live streams. What do they do with the heads? I'm trying to remember. I think the heads are pretty much waste. I don't think you do anything with the heads because there's nothing in them. Like it's just a bone and like a couple of sinews. So I think the heads are actually thrown away. I think that's the one thing we don't use are the heads. Because I find chicken heads like on pallets and stuff. I think we just throw them away. I'm trying to remember. Anyway, but the fillets and stuff, that's a good paying job if you're on the line. You can do the fillets. You can get pretty good money doing that. And it's pretty easy, repetitive job. Best job is putting the chicken in the machine and especially the turkey, because if you're not doing it right, you're gonna get beat to crap. They will kick the crap out of you and scratch you. So there's a technique, especially with turkeys. You gotta pull them underneath your arm, and then let me show you. So you gotta pull them underneath your arm like this, and then you hold the bird underneath. This is how you do, if you guys ever raise chickens, this is how you look at a chicken's butt. You grab it like this, and it'll just be trying to flap, and you hook it in the machine like this. Now, if you're doing a turkeys are, you buy a 20-pound turkey at the store, it actually started at like 35 pounds. So you're grabbing a 35-pound animal that will scratch the crap out of you, and hooking it into the machine, and then it'll flap and stuff. And it's a little bit of effort. All right. What do I do here? Oh, I drink the clarity elixir. With the new leveling system, you get your first mount at level 10, you get your fast mount at level 20, basic flight at 30, and fast flight at 40. There you go. So when we get to 30 here, we just go get flying, and then we can do Westfall and do it like instantly. Alright, following Prophet Valen. I actually don't think you have to do anything in this scene. I think you can just sit here. This is like the future of Karabor, where it becomes the Black Temple, I think. It's just fun. I just ate a stuffed baked potato. Those are good. Good carbs, good protein. Stuff it up with some chicken. It's good stuff. I had two 200-calorie tacos for my lunch, and I got my donut. I should eat my donut. Looking forward to that donut all week. Is this guy gonna kill me? Or am I gonna get healed? Let's find out. I think it'd be hilarious if I died. What does this do? I have this thing here, but I don't know what that's supposed to do. That defense crystal was our only hope. Here comes a dude on a two-headed dragon. Man, that's good. Warlords of Draenor was this expansion that made all of these great promises and fulfilled none of them. You're like, man, we're going to have this great expansion. We're fighting the Horde again. It's going to be great. Iron Horde. All these cool classic bosses. You know, all this the epic questing, like, made you think that the raids were going to be just on a next level. And they were not very good. You had Highmaul, you're like, what are we doing to these ogres? And then you had Iron Docks, and they're like, nah, Iron Horde's not really a thing. It's all about Gul'dan. It's like, I think they said at the beginning Grom was going to be the final boss. I never shackled the birds. To get that spot, you have to, it's like a seniority thing with the Union. Like, I didn't work there long enough. It was a job my dad got me anyway, so. I like how the Draenei were the Israelites wandering through the wilderness with only their faith in the light keeping them going. They had a really strong story. And I loved how it ended in Legion, actually, with Argus. I loved Argus. I thought it was just aesthetically one of the best things they've ever done in the game. I think it was a great questing zone. I think it was just great. I think Argus was awesome. One of the best patches that I've played in the game. So, I thought it was great. I thought the end of Legion was great. I thought the beginning was not that great. And that's because at the beginning I was fully aware of just, it pulled you into that repetitive grind. It's like, you got to keep playing and grinding to get your weapon better and better and better. And I was like, man, I really don't want to do this grind. It's not the kind of grind I like to do. Yeah, I thought it was going to be Conan the Barbarian, but orcs. Yeah, anything that lessens the leveling experience was always a con for me. But, you know, the initial game, they kept you going by making the leveling grind intense. Now it's like, well, we just want the intense grind to be on the current version of the game. So all the grind is at the end game, and there's no grind of leveling anymore. I felt like doing quests at max level was just way better in, like, say, Burning Crusade. I think I can fly there. Fly back there. I guess it's quicker to go back to the to the garrison. We'll just hearth. Yeah, WoD was originally going to take away flying, and that's why I re-upped. I think flying was actually one of the worst things they ever put in the game. I think it was the worst design decision they ever made. The game was not designed with that in mind. It never was. Requires level 40. We're not getting that today. And so WoD really excited me. And yeah, it wasn't designed for that, and they added it in because people are like, I want to get stuff easy and fly right to where I want to go. At the same time, you know, they made it so you never had to leave your garrison. It was just a terrible combination of stuff. So, yeah, it was just a bad combination of things. Alright. Hey, I forgot. I can Ghost Wolf. I can Ghost Wolf around in here. What does he got? Shadow Moon Invasion. Alright, let's do that in Invasion. Alright, Garrison Invasion. Here we go. Do I actually have to follow the sergeant? here we go. This will be a fun. This is a fun little distraction. Don't fear, brothers and sisters. We fought orcs for decades. Literally, we've been playing this game for decades now. Oh man, I can actually say that with EverQuest. It's like, yeah, dude, I remember playing EverQuest 20 years ago. 20 years ago. $20 years ago. 21 years ago is EverQuest. Man, think about that. All those guys are like running out the gates. I think these guys can like probably like run out the front gates with the other guys, I think. Yeah, let's go. See what's out there. Got Aaron, he just keeps sitting down. What's he doing? What are you doing out here, dude? Seriously. Oh, that's the work order. Oh, these are all the like the inhabitants. So I should go back and actually kill the orcs, I think. I always felt orc lore in WoW as a metaphor for welfare and socialism, blood of Manaroth and stuff like that. I don't know about that. I don't know if they're thinking that deeply. Spread out and protect the structures. I probably have talents. Oh, there we go. Well, that's pretty good. That's probably better. You can't do that in combat, I guess. I haven't paid attention to like talents or anything at all. I miss getting like the one talent point, you know, getting like one talent point per level or whatever. It was always like you looked forward, like, man, what am I going to spend my next talent point on, you know? This guy. This guy. There's like more guys appearing over here. These were kind of a fun little event back in WoD. What's your handgun of choice? It's a toolbox. Put the tools in the box to do the job you want to do. So for killing pigs, it's my 44 Magnum. I don't know. For other things, I like my Python. It's got a simple point and click interface. I guess I own the most number of 45s, of 1911s. That's the gun I have the most of. So I guess that's my favorite because I have the most of that one. How many do I have? Let me think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So I have 5 45s. I like them obviously a lot, or I wouldn't have that many. Whereas I have only 2 357s, but they're of different makes. You know, I have a Python, and then I got like a Smith. Highway Patrolman. That's what that one's called. Pretty good, little hefty gun. If you run out of bullets, you can always hit them with it and do some damage. Heavy is reliable. If it doesn't work, you can always hit them with it. No, I have 3 357s. Forgot about my Ruger Black. I have a 50th anniversary Ruger Blackhawk. That's pretty cool. That's a good little cowboy gun. It's fun. I would, you know what, I'd kill a pig with that one because I can load a 357 pretty hot in that single action. Way hotter than most people would get from like a factory ammunition. We'll load 38 special that hot too. Yeah, I think I do have the most 45s, if anything. Yeah, I don't know if you guys can see the pig back there. You see him up there? Yeah. I think I killed that one with the 308. No, it was a 30-06. 06 Springfield. Yeah, these guys are down. Can I heal them? Yes, I can. Okay. So if they're down, I think I can heal them. That'll help me. Like a little triage in the middle of this. I do like these because, like, if you were to do it as a healer, you can just heal these guys and it would just work. You know? Clean up, just heal these guys, and then they'll do all the cleanup for me. All right, I think I got him. No, then a boss spawns, I think. Right? Yeah, usually there's a boss that spawns. Is this what's going to happen? No. There it is. Maybe this is like a cleanup of this guy. Alright. Turn to the town center. Here we go. Lunar Fall Footmen. Take heart. It is always darkest before the dawn. See, I could buy some, like, scouting things, but they'll require level 40. Gonna spawn a boss. There it is. This is like basic WoW stuff. If there's something on the ground, don't stand in it. The thing with Blizzard stories is that they're quite simple. Yeah. There's not a lot to them, but that doesn't mean they're bad necessarily. That's why I think like it's much better to build the world and let the people experience their own stories. You just don't get the feeling of classic anymore because the world at large is not challenging enough with enough variety. You know, you don't have a world full of people that create infinite variety. That's kind of why I like Oblivion. It's like the bad scripting creates all kinds of events that are unique each time you play the game. Same thing with Morrowind, honestly. How much experience did I get for this? It wasn't really worth the time. You know, that wasn't really worth the time I put into it just now. That's okay. Let's see here. I need to set up Arc Inventory again. Like, I moved the game install back to my back to one of my SSDs, so all my mods are messed up. Let's create one that's junk. There's going to be a junk in here. System, is there a junk here? Junk. There we go. This makes it really easy to sell garbage. I'm going to do this one. System. We can do let's see here, like quest items. System, we'll do equipment, soulbound, and here you do equipment. It's not a soulbound. So like this is BOE. So I can just sell, you know, helps me organize stuff to sell. You can do this Arc Inventory, it's a good mod for this. The devs have said they want players to install the game on an SSD come Shadowlands or to speed up load times. It's a confession that they can't code competently. There was no load times like in vanilla. Well, there were, but only when you were like doing things like going to Battlegrounds. And then there was load times. Justin Timberlord. There we go. Oh, he gave me a ton of experience for just like getting Ken Loggin. Ken Loggin's gonna have a quest for me. Kenny Loggins. Man, that donut's good. Let's see, modern WoW storyline seems simple because it's an attempt to make a story. That's basically why it's so simple. Oh, there's druids in here. I've been in here in a while. That's cool. Whereas the original game was just a bunch of quests, and each quest was its own little story. Which basically meant that you could it just felt like a bigger story because everything was compartmentalized so much more, and you could pick and choose what you wanted to interact with. I think it was just a much better system in general. Alright. What level am I? Storm Strike is better. I like those passive effects. Passive effects are generally going to be better. I haven't looked at all the numbers or anything. I guess my Flightmaster might have died here. It's unfortunate. It's a little bit unfortunate that the Flightmaster died in the invasion. Oh, I got a mission here. Failed. Blueprints vendor. I don't want to pay to upgrade anything, so who cares? I haven't even picked up any professions on this character, and there's really no point. You know, since every profession's a separate little expansion now, and all the expansions are compartmentalized, there's really no reason to get one until like max level. Then you can pick one up. All right, actually I was gonna go over this way anyway, so. To the Lost Lumberjacks. I just got distracted by this garrison invasion. What time is it? Oh, it's almost 5. I'm gonna have to call this one. So, gone over the 2 hours, so I actually need to call this stream. But I do appreciate everybody hanging out with me, because I have other stuff to do. I got other videos to record, and dang it, I gotta finish this book, or it's gonna kill me. It's not even a long book. It's like a pretty short book. It's a sequel to... So anyway, here we go. We're in rested. Good. Exit game. All right. So, the upcoming book. I don't know what I'm going to call it yet. It's a sequel to City of Silver. If you don't... I'm not City of Silver. I already did the sequel to City of Silver. That one's called Tyrant's Gallow. That one's out right now. That one came out in June. So it's been out a while. So please check out these two. This one came out... I'll have the book number 3... After I put out this next book, I'll put out book number 3 of this series. And then we'll do book number 3 of the bigger, longer book series. The third book in the series, which is just the Eternal Dream series. So, do that one. But you can get... I'm sorry, it's Crown of Sight. Crown of Sight. So you can get this one for 99 cents, and I appreciate it if people buy it. Or you can just review it. Or you can get... Corona-chan for free, and just read that, and then like you could get on with your life. But there's a bunch of other good stories here. There's stuff by a whole bunch of authors, including, you know, people I've had on the show a bunch of times. You know, Yakov Merkin's in here, Brian Niemeyer's in here, John De La Rose, John Mollison, a bunch of people that I've had on the show. Jesse White did a comic for it. You know, Matt Wellman, my brother-in-law, is in the book. So you can just read my book out of it if you want to and get it for free. I'll provide a link for that. And then make sure you're on my mailing list, dvspress.com/list, and I'll have the links for the next ones up. Oh, I also want to, while I guess I have people's attention, I forgot, you know, there's a free story on my website, and you can read that now if you're into the Gen Y stories. So you can read that one for free. It's called Jimmy Turns 35, and it's got some gaming references, so you might like that. Corona-chan, Spreading the Love, you can read the ebook for free, and it's going to have the entirety of Crown of Sight. The entire thing is inside of that giant book, so you can read that. It's at the end. It's the last one in the book. So you can check that out, and then you can make sure you're on my mailing list at dbspress.com/list to keep abreast of what I'm doing. In fact, there's a big button on DBS Press that's just join the mailing list. So you can do that. And then I'll have info on when that comes out and when book 3 in the Moonsong series comes out. So thanks so much for this hanging out with me this stream. I do appreciate it, and I will see you all next time.